What I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to, oops, I'm not sharing it. Okay, cool. Now you should be able to see my screen. Okay. I go here in GSBin. This is actually the sandbox for JavaScript specifically. I do like the UI, how it looks. So we will be working here. So I will share this link on our free channel over here so that everybody will have a link to it. Just another website where we can practice JavaScript. So we, as you can see right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons over here. And what we need only two of them. So we have to select JavaScript and console. You can ignore HTML and output. So this is how it should be looking. So on the left part, it should say JavaScript. On the right part, it should say console log. So it's like highly advised for you. If you want to follow, that's totally fine. If you want to just focus on what's happening on the screen or what I will be talking about, feel free to proceed with this method. Otherwise, I will just later on after this lecture or maybe during the lecture, I will be sharing my code on our Slack channel. Good? I think it's okay.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Got it
Feel
out.
free to unmute. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Reach out to me because even though we right, just started, the asking questions is very important because I'm here. My goal is to show you some of the JavaScript, let's say some basics, and your job is to listen and ask the questions. So let's have some fun today. So as for today's topic is we start with the first part, which will be where we'll be talking about the variables. So what is a variable? Does anyone familiar with this term? Variable? Ever heard of this? No? Okay. So imagine that you have pencils, for example, pencils, right? And you want to keep those pencils somewhere, right? So I assume it should be a box, right? So you basically will put all your pencils inside the box, right? Or container or whatever, right? So now you know that that specific box, and let's say that this specific box has label on it, and the label says pencils, right? For example, you see the box, and okay, I know that there should be some pencils in it, right? So if you open the box, and of course there are pencils. So this is like should be related to what we are going to learn. Variable is a container or let's say the storage for storing the data. What kind of the data? We will be talking a little bit later. But imagine, or just I want you to understand that if you want to keep something, right, in JavaScript, you most likely will use the variable for keeping that kind of the information. And the variable itself, for your understanding, it will be a box or the container that can keep the data, any kind of the data. Is this term is okay? Questions? No?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
explanation.
sure. Cool, cool, cool. So we are going to start with variables. Variables. If I just type in here the word variables, just like you see, it underlines, you will see the red line over here. So the JavaScript code, or in JavaScript, you cannot simply type the words. So that's why you have to use, let's say, the syntaxes. If you want to put some wording or text, some context on, if you want to add some context on your code, that context is called commands in JavaScript or in maybe every programming language. So if you want to create a command section for the JavaScript code, all you need to do is just to put two slashes. There are basically two ways. If you put two slashes, now I can put A lot of text, numbers, digits, I don't know, special characters, everything should be fine. This is approach number one. Approach number two, where you put the slash and then asterisk sign and then asterisk sign and slash again. So whatever you put inside, will be commented. And that kind of thing is called commenting in JavaScript. It
Well,
basically gives you some context of what you're trying to do. If you want to say, let's say, if you want to create an algorithm which will be a calculator, right? You will say, okay, creating something like this, creating a calculator or whatever, right? So that people who read your code understand what are you trying to create. So commands are very important, and once you start actively coding, you will be using those commands a lot. So so we're done with the commands. So this will be our commands. Variables. So in JavaScript, now we know that the box may contain the data, right? So, the question number one, how do we create that box? In order to create that box, we need to use three keywords, right? The first keyword that we will be using, I do like this example. So, for example, let variable, go. Now equals, and then inside I will just say defines a variable with restricted scope. So just ignore what it has inside. We will be learning it later on during the course. But as for right now, what is important? The most important here, thing over here is this guy over here. So let, as you can see, this keyword will help us to create a variable. So let's say put some extra comments over here so that we know what's happening over here. So we'll say let is a keyword which creates a variable. Then after that, we can say that there is a let variable. The let variable, instead of the let variable, we can put whatever we want actually. Actually doesn't matter. So the let variable basically is a name of the variable. So we have to, for example, in my previous example, I was talking about the pencils, and I said that there was label pencils on the box pencils, right? So why we actually need to do it? Because we know, or we should know what's inside the box. And it's not like mandatory, let's say highly recommended, to give a such label which should briefly describe what this variable is. So, for instance, let's say that the variable, I will just give you an example. The variable, how would you call the variable which calculates the sum of two numbers?
let add.
Yeah, let add, and then we'll say a plus b, just for an example. This is how it will be. So the point is to give a specific name, not the specific name, but that name should be describing what this variable contains, just like with pencils. Heads up for you. Good. Thank you very much. So now, what we have after that, one equal sign. One equal sign, I will put that equal sign in quotes. One equal sign, one equal sign in JavaScript means that we are going to assign something to something. So in this case, means that we are assigning the following value, whatever you have on the right part, to the left part. Why we need to do it? Because whenever we call, we will be doing the calls a little bit later, wherever we call the variable, we will see what's inside. Oh, actually, let's do it right now. So I will use the command which is called the console log. It's inbuilt, let's say, syntaxes just like, and let me show you how it works. The console logs, this program, or not the program, but this operation will call wherever you put inside. This is something that developers using a lot on a daily basis, and QA automation engineers a lot. So if you want to, for example, check some of the data, let's say that I do not see this part, right? Let's see, I see only the let variable over here, right? And I do not know what's inside that variable. In order to know what's inside my variable or the function, or it actually will depend on what I should do. I should be putting the name of the variable inside the console log. So if I do like this, let variable, and put it inside the console log and hit the run button, you will see that I have the following value. Do we have this value? Yes, we do. It actually right here. So that basically means that this value over here is the value of our variable let variable. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One equal signs means that we are going to assign the value to the variable, let's say, let me just copy this variable over here and paste it here. So this is what it happens. And afterwards, as you can see, it's not recommended. Is this sign over here? If you are not familiar with it, it's called semicolon. Semicolon means that basically you are done with this line of the code. So the question is, well, this is one of my students' favorite question. Do I Am I required to put it every time when I finish with my line? No, you're not required. It actually depends on the team that you are working with. So, for example, in all my previous projects and on my current project, we put semicolon. It's like, highly recommended to put a semicolon so that you give an idea to the person either who reads it or the browser, or let's say, or the program who will read your JavaScript code, that you're done with this code and you want to move to the next line. So if you do this, remove it. It's not a mistake. I'm totally fine with it. But the only thing that I want to ask you is consistency. What does it mean? It means that if I'm going to create another variable, let's say a, and put some value to it, right? sh- I should put here semicolon as well. If I don't have it here, I should remove it here. Good. So this is how it works. So let me put semicolon over here. Any questions so far, guys? I believe it's kind of straightforward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So what are the other keywords which will help us to create the variable? The other two keywords will be, the first one will be var, and then I will say var variable, and the value of it will be work same as let, but can be seen in older browser versions. Cool. Now we have the var variable. How does it work? It has the same exact meaning as a lot, as a var, but with invention of ES5, this is of the JavaScript version, people decided to get rid of it. I mean, you still may see it. It's not a mistake, but whenever you see it, just keep in mind that this guy over here is equals to this guy over here. There is a tiny difference, but I don't want to share those kind of the details on the free course. Not because I'm mean, but because I don't want to overwhelm your memory with that information. So you don't need it. As for right now, let's just say that the let is same as a var for right now. Good. Now, and the last keyword that we will be using will be the variable const. Here we'll say const variable. So as for the const variable, we can say const keyword defines a variable. Variable which value cannot be changed. What does it mean actually? Change the value. So in JavaScript, we can change the value, as you may see. How does it work? For example, if I run my code right now, what our console log will show us? It will show the following value, right? Defines a variable with restricted scope, and that value is the value of the following variable, right? Right, the let variable. Good. Now, what happens afterwards? What if I do the following thing? I do the following thing. So let variable equals test, or
It's
say can. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's gonna when you run the console log for let variable, it's gonna change to the updated string you just used.
Yep. This is how it will be working because for those, let me give you some update. I forgot to mention it. Actually, the JavaScript code or the JavaScript is being executed from left to right, up and down. And I see that, and I hear that someone has a question, right? So just unmute yourself and ask your question because since I'm sharing my screen, I'm not able to see the hands. I can still hear them, but I cannot see them. So,
Hi, good night, Stan.
hi,
Apologies, I just joined the class. I ran late tonight. I had to do some extra stuff at work, so I'm just trying to catch up.
sure. Uh, do you have a question?
We're doing JavaScript tonight, right?
Yeah,
Perfect. There's going to be a recording video, so I'll be able to catch the start of the
exactly.
class with a recorded video, right?
Yeah, sure,
Oh,
definitely.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're on the video right now. Maybe you can hear yourself once you start watching it. So, shout out to you. Okay, good. So, as for right now, just a small heads up. I believe some people join a little bit later. That's fine. Just a quick overview. What we are doing, guys, we are learning the variables, and later on, we will be learning functions. I'm trying to show you how it's working, and hopefully, you will enjoy the show. Reach me out if you have any questions. As for right now, we learn how to create a variable. So, there are basically three keywords which will help you to create a variable. The first variable is a let, the second is a var, the same as let actually, and then the last one is const. So, as you can see right here, we can change the variable's value. So right here, I said let variable equal sign. And if you remember equal signs, one equal sign means that we are going assign, or let's say re- reassign the value of the variable. So we can actually either assign or reassign its value. So we declare it right here, or we created it, this variable right here. And on this line, I'm going to reassign its value to something else. And with the help of the console log, or wherever I will put the console log, I will see it on the right part of my screen. So the first one, this message is the following one. The original defines a variable with this restricted scope, and the second value over here, let variable, is the new or the updated value. Good. So, and as you can see, the reason why I'm seeing it is just because I put that variable inside the console log. This is how it works. Good. Now, so let's try to do the same exact operation, but with a const variable. So const variable, let's say I will pass the same exact value over here and paste it here. Now let us use the console log to see if it's working. So here, paste it here. Good. Now clear run. As you see, the JavaScript, or let's say the JavaScript doesn't like it. So it says type error assignment to const variable. So that basically it doesn't like that we are trying to change the value of the const variable. This is something that you guys should be avoiding. So, for instance, Let's say that you will be working or we will be working in the bank, and we work with, let's say, user credentials, or let's say user, our customer sensitive information. So try to think what kind of the variables. I will just give you an example so that you know what kind of the information should be created with keywords. So example, I will say first name, and for example then last name, for example Kim, then what else, the phone number, let's say, and then let's say SSN. So tell me please, for the first one, what keyword you will use in order to create it. I mean,
Const,
const, right? So why?
because that's something that we don't want to change. It's gonna stay the
Mm,
same.
okay, good. Then what's about the name? Someone else?
Const as well.
Cons as well. Yes.
Yeah, const as well. What's about the phone number?
It could be a let
Phone number is gonna be the same thing. Cons.
change,
I'm
right?
not. No, it can be changed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I can go to my
You can do
Verizon
var.
or var, right? Okay, let's use
Var.
var. Okay, what's about the SSN?
Cons.
Const, right? This is something that cannot be changed easily. I'm not sure if like you can change your SSN. I believe no, right? So, yeah, this is totally correct, guys. So that you, if you don't want to change some sort of the data and you want to, let's say, log them or protect them, you create a variable with the help of the const variable. This is how it should work. Good. So now let's proceed. So the next thing that we will be learning today will be actually data types. Data types in JavaScript. Data types in JavaScript. Why this topic is very important? It belongs actually, this is very important, guys, because you will be using with every day with data types. So what is actually a data type? Let's come back to the definition of the variable. So the variable is a container or the box which can contain any kind of the data, right? And there are basically 8 data types in JavaScript. Today we will be learning the first three. The rest of them, they're like not very important as for right now because we just started, right? And let's get started. So the very first data type that we will be learning today will be string. So string is very popular data type in JavaScript. So wherever or whenever we need to work with textual data, or let's say represent a textual data. So what else? The value, the value should be enclosed either in single or double quotes. Good. Now we finally finish the definition. Is it like, hold on? I cannot see my mouse, guys. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. Okay, let me move this part here so that everything will be visible for you guys. So the question for you, according to our definition, do you see the string data type on my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah, where is it?
it's assigned to your variables.
Which one?
Your let variable, var
Mm-hmm.
variable, and const variable.
Yeah. So each, thank you very much. Each of those variables or each variable contains the data type string. This is how the string looks like. So whenever if you want to create a variable which will be a string, or let's say which will contain some textual data, you will be using the string data type. So just an example how it looks like. I believe you see how it looks. Or just for the reference. Let's just say let string data type equals either some random text. So either single or double quotes. I accidentally, yeah. This is how it works. So single or double quotes, but again, um, follows the consistency. I used the single quotes, or I started using single quotes, and I'm going to proceed with single quotes. If you put double quotes, it's not a mistake, just proceed with double quotes as well. So I believe string is kind of straightforward. Good. Now, the question for you. If you are like, let's say, super curious, right? How can you believe me, right, that this is a string? Because you need some proof on that this is a string, right? I just said that, okay, string represents the textual data and the value should be enclosed either in single or double quotes. Okay, Stan, good. But how can you prove it? And yes, there is like inbuilt method, or let's
Methods.
say,
They're like type of.
exactly, yeah, the type of. This is what we will be using. So I will be using the console log in order to see the result over here in my right side screen. So I will be saying the following mention. Actually, in the console log, I can put whatever I want also. So here we'll put some string value. You will see why. So I will say what's the data type of str data type over here of the variable this, and I will draw an arrow over here, put some spacing. And here I will say type of, and then the name of the variable over here. Space, voila, and then clear, run. Assignment to const variable, no, I can ignore it because this is something that we don't want to do, right? Okay, run it again. As you can see, it says right here, what's the data type of the variable string? Data type, it's a string. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, I take it as no. So everything is clear, which is cool. So the next thing, or the next data type, whenever or once you start working with a code, okay, now you know how to work with textual data. What about the numbers? How do we work with numbers? And in JavaScript, the second data type that you will be learning today, guys, will be numbers. The numbers is used to represent numeric data. Numbers can be written with or without decimals. Good. Now, example, let h equals, for example, 25. This is a presentation of the number. As you can see, there are no quotes which are enclosing this value, 25. That's why, and it's just a number, just a simple number, 25. And if you want to create, let's say, a decimal number, you can do the following. 1.5. This is how the decimals, comma in between. So the whole part and the decimal part. This is how it looks like. Good. Now, how can we prove, or let me actually ask Alex, why? Let me ask you. How do I prove that this is a number, for example, that the variable h is a number? What should I do? Alex, you there?
I'm sorry, I was on
We
mute.
have to use the typo.
I was on mute.
What's that?
Was it supposed to be console log?
Yeah, okay, yeah, console log. Okay, what else?
And you go, what
It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory, but it will give me some context, right? Again,
yes.
do you see it right here? So I can put it, I can ignore it. It's all up to you. You're the boss right now. Just
So
tell
do
me
you
what
put
you.
what number type?
Yep. Yeah. What's the data type of the variable age, for example, right? So good.
Do you have to put that triple hyphen with the greater than sign as an arrow?
No, it's not mandatory.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
this will be just a string. Now, what should I put after the plus sign?
25. No, no.
25 will return the value. For example, do you see this variable over here? Let variable right here. I selected this one. And if I simply put in console log this variable, I will see its value, right? The console log will show me the value of this variable, right? And
Mhm.
defines a variable with restricted scope. And this is what we see in the console log. So basically, if you put the age over here, we will see 25, most likely. But the goal is to see the data type. So for example, in this example, we did have, what did we use?
We use the string data type.
String data, str data type. So str
STR.
data type will return this text. But if there is something else that this console log has, so plus sign, we have this part is fine. This part is also fine. What's missing, Alex?
Um,
Compare this console log against this one.
so it'd be I'm not sure.
No, that's okay. So this one console log against this one. So plus sign, right? Plus sign.
Mhm.
Then the some, let's say, comments over here. Then we should have a plus sign. Then what do we have here?
Right there says type of string data type. So
Yeah, so type of, right? Type of, and then,
new
but not the string
is
string
numbers data type.
number,
Okay.
age, right? Not the
Age.
numbers, age. Yeah, exactly.
Type of
So if
age.
you
Okay.
Okay, let's see if it works. Yeah, it's number. Yeah, good job, Alex.
Oh, you
Thank
helped
you.
me.
Thank
That
you.
wasn't
No. That's okay. It will come. It will come. Eventually, it should come. So do not expect to go everything smooth right away. Trust me, I'm the one who struggled a lot at the beginning, but as you can see, I am helping you right now. So let's see.
okay.
Good. The numbers are kind of pretty straightforward. Let's proceed to the next one. The next one is more fun. So the third data type that we will be learning today will be a Boolean. So the Boolean data type is the easiest data type in the world. I believe so. Why it is so? Because it can have only two conditions, or not the conditions, two states, true or false. Or false. Why we need that true or false? Because that when we are talking about the strings, it kind of we can assume that we will be working with some, let's say, some sort of the text, some information with it. Okay, if we're talking about the numbers, okay, we can add numbers, multiplicate numbers, subtract numbers, divide numbers, and so on and so on. But what about the Boolean? Why we need to use the Boolean? The
Well,
reason why we need to use the Boolean is that we want to pass the condition, some sort of the condition, and based on this condition, if this condition is true or false, we will do some sort of the operations. So let's say that if I'm like older than 21, right, then I can buy alcohol right here in the United States, right? This is uh, for that specific goal, I will use the Boolean data type. If I don't, if I'm younger, then I'm not allowed to buy the alcohol, right? But we will go through the examples later on. So the Boolean data type is just we need to use the Boolean data type in order to pass the condition. And based on this condition, we will do something. We go direction A or we go direction B. Okay. That would be the best explanation of the Boolean data type. If we want to turn something on, or if we want to turn something on, off, or I don't know, any condition, any condition. If you have enough money in the bank, you can buy a Ferrari, or if you have enough money in the bank, you can buy a house or
Gives
apartment
you like
or
certain color or something. If it's not blue, then it's not.
yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. For example, let's say that you want to create a program which will validate. Okay, everybody goes to the grocery stores, right? And I assume most of us, I assume so, most of us use credit cards, right? Or Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or whatever Pay, right? And
Yeah.
whenever you tap your phone or credit card to that machine, right? You scan your credit card, right? And it should validate all the numbers on your credit card, right? And for this purpose, you will use again the else Boolean data type. If the numbers are matching, then you can proceed to checkout, or this you or that machine can approve, the buying your groceries. Or if the numbers are not matching, or if you forgot your pin code, you are not you won't be able to buy the groceries, right? So for those
Right.
kind of things, you will be using the Boolean data type. Good. Now, I believe that's enough for the data type. Let's do some exercises. But before doing exercises, I want to show you something. So whenever we go to for example, let me show you my favorite. Oh, okay. Actually, we're right here. The Google website, the landing page. The landing page might be different, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I did mention it that the JavaScript, do you remember that we were talking or discussing the house during the previous lecture? So for example, the HTML would just, the build the house, no colors, no wall, no
Yeah.
colors, no styling, right? If we add
CSS
CSS,
was the color, and then the JavaScript was like a muscle or
uh-huh.
the
Yep, yep,
ornament.
yep.
Okay.
So we can open the doors, for example, this guy will be moving. So here in this specific example, every single action that I can perform on this website, like let's say click on the Gmail over here, or no, 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 no. Images. This is not my account actually. Sorry guys. If I start typing here, right, for example, hello world, if as you can see, I start typing, and the Google understand that it should search for something, right? So every single action should be or will be put inside the certain syntaxes. And right now we will learn that syntaxes. I believe this is the most important topic in JavaScript. So this is what we will be doing today. So right now, functions. So function is actually, what is a function? Function is, let's say, some block of the code which can be executed, and it should perform some sort of the actions. And based on this action, it actually depends what your actions are, right? But you can create some algorithm that will validate, for example, how old you are you allowed to drink alcohol, are you allowed to buy the car, calculate, for example, two values, and so on and so on. This is what we'll be learning. So functions. But before proceeding, we need to learn the syntaxes, how to create the functions and what has to be inside the function. So as for today, we will be learning the functions declaration. It's called function declaration. So the very first thing that I would like to do is just to use a keyword function. After the keyword function, I should be given the function name. Here is the same exact thing. If you want to calculate for example, the sum of two numbers, the best name for this function would be, for example, sum of two numbers, right? So name is very important. Name of the function. After the name of the function, it's very important to put parentheses and curly brackets right away. Now let's fill the parentheses first. Inside the parentheses, it's optional. We can put parameters. parameters. Inside curly brackets, we will be putting the code, or some people call it GS JavaScript statements, something like this. Yeah, and that's it. So this is basically it. So if we need to create a function, this is what the function will look like. So again, the name is required. Is the name is the function name. Good. After that, we have parameters. Those guys are optional. We can say it. Let me edit here. Optional over here. And here we can say enclose the in parentheses and separated by commas more if more than one. Good. Now, the last thing that we need to do is just the code. Code is actually depends on what your goal is, right? So the code that defines the function. The code that defines a function. Good. Enclosed in curly brackets. Like this. So this is our code. Now, with that being said, let's do some exercises. So the very first exercise, I will do it myself. So create, and guys, please, eyes on the screen, watch out, stop your online shopping, and because this will be the part of your homework. And if you want to complete your homework, please follow me. Oh, yeah. So the create a function which will calculate the area of the square. I do like this exercise, to be honest with you. So how do we do this? So the very first thing that we need, right, is a function keyword, right, over here. I can actually copy this part and paste it right here. I have the function name. I have the function. Then I should give it a name. So create a function which should, or which, let's say, calculates the area of the square. Good. Now what the name of it would be, what the best name would be.
Area
Multiply?
total.
Oh, just one person. Say it
Go ahead.
again.
Square area.
Yeah, square area. So as you can see right here, it's actually very interesting. In JavaScript, if I put some space over here, it's not allowed. So if you want to combine some wording or more than one word in JavaScript, it's advised to use the camel case. This is called the camel case, where the first word starts, or where the first words should have all lowercase letters, and the second word should start with a capital letter A. So square area. This is the name of the function. Then the parameters. It's very important. Let's come back to school math and say square area formula. Formula. So this is a formula, right here. So how many sides do I need in order to calculate the square area?
4.
4, really?
2.
2? 2,
2,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
2,
2.
no.
Right? So, length times width, to be specific.
No, it's a
Huh?
square. It's a square. It's
Okay.
not a rectangle. It's not a rectangle. Hold on. Let me hit the images. Up, so to come. For, yeah, for example, this one. So what the formula?
It's
Of it.
5 centimeters times 5 centimeters.
So the basically all sides of the square are the same, right? This equals to this one to equals. So basically I need only one side, right?
Mhm.
In order to calculate its area, because if we come back to the Google formula, it says
A
a in
squared.
power of
Yeah.
square area, a square. So a times a, right? So let's come back to our code here, and here instead of the code and GS statement, we should say. So from this example, we understood that we may need only one parameter, which will be the site. So the question for you, or the question maybe for me, is that you should be asking, does it matter how we call our parameter? And the answer for that question is it doesn't matter. I can call it Stan, I can call it Alex, I can call it, I don't know, Sony, I can call it PlayStation or whatever. It actually doesn't matter. It's highly advised to call it by the name what it contains, right? So this parameter or this value will be containing the value of the square side. So that's why it's called it side. Good. Now, what interesting is we need to put now what once we get the side, right? Let's come back to our formula. Now we have everything what we need, right? All we need is basically the side in order to calculate the square area. But before doing it, we will use the keyword return. So this return is not mandatory, but if your function should return something, some sort of the result or whatever, you should be using that keyword. So I want to return or calculate the square area. That's why I want to use a return statement. After the return statement, what I should be putting?
What we want our function to do.
So side by side, right?
Yeah.
Side by side. And that's it. So the last thing which is missing actually, we forgot to mention it actually. Once you create the function, as you can see, if I click the run button, nothing will be happening. Your function will be working and it's still working. But in order to see its result, where we should be put, where we have to place this function.
Um.
We need to put variable side or something like this. We need
Oh,
to give the side the number.
yes, but where? What command I should be using?
Let or
Mhm.
number.
It's right on the screen. The console log. The console log shows us temporary result, right? Or whatever we put inside the console log. If you remember, I said that the console log may contain whatever we want. Can console log contain the function? Yes, it can. So it happens. Console log, and inside the console log I will be putting this value, and I will say what's the square area with a side, then over here, plus sign over here, and here I will put the name of the area or the name of our function and parentheses, guys. It's very important. This is just the syntax. Whenever you want to call the function, this is the syntax. This over here alone will call your function. Good. Now, since we are calling our function, we should be passing the value. So let's say that the value is 4, right? Since you are going to be the future QA engineers, what the expected result would be in this case?
16.
16, right? So this is what we expect to see. So if I click here, clear and run, you will see 16. Good.
Good.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Now, question for you. You may notice this one because this variable over here, the first value over here, returns or not the returns by console log its value, right? This value. But this value over here with a string contains the text. So for example, what's the data type of the variable, string data type, and then the value. So this part with plus sign, it's not mandatory, guys, but it gives me some context what I'm trying to console log. And once I add in this kind of the part, this kind of the things inside my console log, I will see what I'm trying to console log. So imagine that we will have not one, two, three, or maybe five console logs, but hundreds of them. And we able to see what we are trying to console log. So that's very important.
So-
I think it should definitely save you some time. Yeah,
So
go
this
ahead.
console log basically means the answer, and the answer is
Not
always right.
not the
Kind
answer.
of.
It will the console log will contain or will show you some
The
sort of
formula.
the result.
Okay.
Yeah, if your console, if you put the variable inside the console log, it will return its value. Here in this example, is significantly, yeah, different is we put the function here, right?
Yes.
So if we put the function here, we will see its result. So it actually depends. But once we start like doing it on a daily basis, you will have more understanding of it, right? So
Yes.
let's proceed. Yeah, let's do one more exercise, and I will let you go, guys, because I believe I try to build my lectures. This is my personal opinion. I believe that the person can be fully focused on something like 50 minutes at max. You can do whatever you want, but you can be fully focused during the first 50 minutes. But I want those 50 minutes to be very productive for you guys. So let me do one more exercise, or we will be doing it all together. So it's a kind of tradition, I believe so, that everybody is following. That whenever you start learning how to code, you have to create a program or the function which should say hello. People say hello world. So let's just follow this tradition. So create a function called let's say hello, or let's say call it greetings, which should say hello world. The following statement. This is what we will be doing. So if I want to create a such function, how do I do this? The very first thing, I just simply copy and paste this code, right? Let's do this exercise just like professional developers. Copy and paste in someone else code. This is what you will be doing a lot, guys. I don't know. I'm just don't want to lie, guys, but it not very often when you will be allowed to create your own code. Sometimes you will be just, for instance, let's say that you want to create an algorithm that will I don't know, generate a random number from 1 to 1000, right? do, do you really need to think of those kind of the things, or you can simply google kind of the formula and just paste it and use it? Here you go.
That's what Arthur said.
Yeah, company money saved. Good. Now, function, we have a keyword function, then the name of the function. So according to our description, it says greetings. Let's call it greetings. Then the parameters. Then this is kind of tricky. So here we can parameters, or we may skip those parameters, but let's keep that parameters. And I want to I want to call that parameter a message, right? This will be the message that the user will be seeing. So here I want to come back to the definition, not the definition, but task itself. So create a function called greetings. Okay, I created the function. It's called greetings, which should say hello world. So I may assume that I should be following some sort of the message. So here I should be putting the return statement. The return statement, the reason I want to use the return statement is just because I want to show something or return the result. If you want to return the result, that's okay. You can put it. Okay. And then the message itself. Good. Now,
No,
why no?
you're not returning hello world.
You will see. I will be doing it. There is a trick. So console log. So for example, show, or let's say function greetings. Function greetings. I did it intentionally. So here, if I want to call the function greetings, what should I do? I should put it right here in my console log. and then parentheses. But what should I be putting inside? What I can
Hello,
put in?
hello
Yeah,
world.
hello world. Yes, Alex, thank you very much. So if I put it right here, let's see, let's run our word, and this is it, hello world.
Okay.
So as you can see, this value went, or was sent to our function greetings, and instead of the message you will see hello world, and this function simply returns the message, for example, hello world, its value.
I have
This
a,
is how it works.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you were to call greetings, right, with message on the inside, you wouldn't get hello world, right?
Where do you want me to put it? I'm not quite following, sorry.
Like how we did earlier, where we
Side.
called, yeah, like where we called square area and then you had the parentheses. You didn't,
Side.
yeah, you didn't call it inside of the console log. You just made a function call using square area just to show us real quick.
Here you mean,
Yeah,
is like this, right?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So like if we were to just have greetings and then parentheses and we had message on the inside of parentheses instead of hello world, we wouldn't get
Mhm.
hello world, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the deal is, in order to see that temporary result, we should be parsing that value specifically inside the console log.
Okay.
But if we just simply do this, the function will be still working, right?
Mhm.
It will be still working, but we won't be able to see it on our console log, and the
Right.
console log basically show us the result. It still will be working, and then in the real life, this is most likely what you will be doing. But as for, like, let's say, training purposes, we want to put something and we want to see the result right away. That's why we want to do the greetings
Mhm.
inside the console log. But yes, you're right, it will be working. Let's upgrade our function, so we finally follow that tradition. I don't know, but let's say that you want to greet someone, so instead of the message you will have the name, and you should say hello whatever. I will be put inside, instead of the hello world, let's say I will be saying Alex, right? Alex, we're trying to greet you, so the function should say hello Alex. And on the next, in the oh sorry, in the next case, on the next line, I will be saying hello, for example, oops, sorry, Stan. And then the next line should be, I don't know, let's say, Sarah, right? So, but if we do this name, all we will be seeing Alex, Stan, Sarah, and that's it, right? No hello. How do we do this? In order to do this, we should say the message, single quotes, hello, and then this is what we are doing in the console log, plus sign. So plus sign, if you like super curious, it basically will concatenate or merge two values into a string if you want to know what's behind of it. But as for us, for right now, it's not very important. We want to add some text before our value. So hello name, and then we can put here another plus sign, and then let's say exclamation mark as well. So as a result, and I run it, you see hello Alex, hello Stan, hello Sarah, but there is like no spacing right between it. How can I add it? If I add space over here, you will see it. Hello Alex, hello Stan. Oh, and whatever I will put here will be considered as my parameter and the name. So the name will be different. And the name itself, the parameter, depends on what I will be putting whenever I will be calling my function.
So the space always comes behind the hello, not in front of the name.
And it actually depends on what your task is, but yeah. So for
Okay.
example, if I just, let's say that I forgot to put that space over here, and you will see that, you see, everything is merged right now. And this is something that I don't want to see. So if you want to add space over here, hello, let's run it. Oops. So accidentally removed that quote. And you see, hello. Oh, I'm adding insert. Use it. Sorry. Clear run. Hello. Hello, Alex. Hello, Stan. Hello, Sarah. This is how it works. If I want to add some extra space in between the name Alex and this exclamation mark, what I will be doing, I will add space over here. This is how it works. So, any questions, guys? So, as for the homework, I prepared a GS bin for you guys, which I will show you later today. But what you will be doing, you will be just creating some sort of the functions. And then once you finished, I want you to click on the file, then save snapshot, copy it, and paste it on our Slack channel, just like here right beneath. So it's very important, guys. Do not overflood our Slack channel because I'm personally afraid that I may miss someone's message. So that's why we want to reply in thread and say, I will say, start the thread, drop your homeworks, homeworks here. And that's it. You just click on this icon, reply in thread, and drop all your homeworks right here. And that would be it. I will check it. And if I put, the like and the check mark, that means homework approved. Okay, let me stop presenting. And if you click on that specific link that I shared on our Slack channel, you will be redirected to today's classwork. So, any questions so far?
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Thank you, Stan.
Sounds good. Did you like it? I know it might be a little bit too much, guys, but bear with me. This is the required minimum in order for you to proceed to the automation course so that you will know what your teacher or what Sergey will be talking about, because he will be using the variables, he will be using the functions, he will be using the data types as well, right? So bear with me, just go through the classwork. Maybe tomorrow, right? You have enough time, just grab some coffee, put your favorite blanket on, and watch this video recording with your own pace and just follow every single line of the code. So moreover, I would like to thank everyone who attended this free course. So guys, I do appreciate that you are spending your let's say free time with me. So maybe this is not the best thing to do in the world, but thank you again for attending this lecture. I'm honored to welcome you here. And if you decide to join my course, I will be happy to work with you and to guide with all of the procedures, the JavaScript and so on and so on. And moreover, thank you who worked a lot, Alex and Leandra, right? So thank you guys a lot for helping me, assisting me. So,
No
and
problem.
everyone else who
So
helped.
much.
So that's great. That's great, guys. So I wish you the good rest of your day. Enjoy your evening. Submit your homeworks. Reach out with your questions. I'm over the Slack. You can just DM me with any kind of the question, and that would be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Stan.
Stan.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Can you repeat, please, where I can find the homework?
The homework I will put in on our Slack channel, and you will
Okay.
see it.
You will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Not right now. Not right now.
Okay.
Give me some time. I
So
want to drink
homework
some
on
coffee.
the Slack channel, not on the Tech Start platform page.
Yeah. On our Slack channel, so
Okay.
that I will see it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you, guys. I'll see you hopefully
great
during my
evening.
course. Yeah. You too, guys. Take care. Stay
Thank you. Take it
hydrated.
easy.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe. Bye bye.